all from a different time zone. It's come to another 2 weeks of meeting together. Today I'm talking about bang or break, the final gate. Somebody asked me why do you want to share? Why do you want to do this on a fortnightly basis? My answer is very simple: to share my knowledge with all of you because I've been through this industry and I have so much problems in 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 the very beginning. So I have learned something about the industry, so I like to share so that everybody can work together, hopefully, and make the life a bit easier for everyone. Okay, next. For those of you who joined my earlier session, this is a Sugar Trade Made Easy series. Tonight is the third episode. The first two are, number one, why sugar deal fails. I talk about this with everybody, the top 10. And second thing is getting your sugar daddy. There's a supplier, which is important. Tonight, on my time at least, we talk about the bank. Without the bank, nothing happened. In 2 weeks' time, I will share with you how to stop the chase to identify whether this is a buyer or a liar. A little bit of myself. This is my career. I spent 25 years in the corporate C-level, meaning the top management. So I sit in the boardroom, we decide strategic policies and the direction. And then part of the member of management buyout. I cash out and become my own business. I do my own business in Malaysia and start. And a total 30 years of experience in the fast-moving consumer goods. Sugar fall into this category. A bit on the CapFiX. CapFiX is a platform where we have two verticals, one on the agri-commodities, and this is what we are talking about tonight. Secondly is a CapFiX Energy, which we just started this month. We started with EN590 and also the ethanol. And then under this two verticals, we have CapFiX Fin Trade, where we help the financial partner to offer SBLC to buyer who need these facilities. Also, we provide speakers and we work with the commodity AI. And underneath all this thing, we have mentorship, which I'll talk about it in more detail later on. CapFiX, this is something I want to share. Not many companies have the corporate flower. Sunflower is our corporate flower, and we need this spirit to stand longer in this chaotic industry. Okay, from the title, you know, today we are very focused and single-mindedly on sugar. Of all the commodities, sugar. And why sugar? Because we wanted a commodity which will give us daily inquiries, minimum 12,500 metric tons of order every month for the next 12 months. And if you get just $1 commission, you are having $12,000 commission, right? This will help a lot in the family. I'm talking about four subjects tonight. Why top 100 bank matters, right? Or why not just any other bank? And the top two payment methods, SBLC and DLC, what are they for? And proof of funds, what are they? And lastly, escrow as a potential payment method. Based on our studies and statistics, 25% of the sugar deals fail. This is from our very first episode, right? 4 weeks ago. 25% of the sugar deal fail because of one thing, and that's the bank. It's not the price, not supply and demand. And last week I ran a small poll for everybody to chip in, and I asked one question: what's the biggest bank issues killing a sugar deal? Almost half of you said buyer cannot issue SBLC and DLC. 40%. Number two, buyer cannot issue user top 100 bank, right? Third one is bank causing delays, and the last one is weak proof of fund. So we have solution for the top two, which is 70% of the issues tonight. Okay, why top 100 banks matters? You see, when we first started, all of us so eager to close a deal and get an order. So we don't really care what bank a buyer use, right? We just submit our LI, hopefully it'll go through. But problem will come when it come to the middle stage where the seller's receiving bank cannot process the buyer's instrument. And that will delay months. Not 1 month, 2 months, it could be a whole year and you start there. So with a top 100 bank, it gives the buyer the credibility. Seller will be more inclined to work with you, also as an intermediary. Instrument will be accepted by the sellers and it's smooth processing, especially when it comes to the monetization part. Without a top 100 bank, the instrument is very difficult to be monetized. Okay, how do we know which one are the top 100 banks? Okay, you can easily go to those references like the Banker, S&P, the Moody, but the top 100 bank here refer to the assets and the capitalization of the bank. Some buyer may not have the big bank in the country, then what happened? Okay, most of the time you can use a local prime bank and then use the top 100 bank as a corresponding bank. But some seller may not agree. In fact, this method will not guarantee you a smooth sailing when it comes to the bank processing time and a lot of deals being cancelled or being queued because of non-top 100 banks. Okay, what is SBLC and DLC? These are by far the number two and top two payments method for commodity business. In fact, there are almost like no others. It's two. SBLC is like what it is MT760. In this Swift method, this system, you just need to remember three numbers: MT760, MT700, and MT799. The rest is not so important for us. 760 refer to SBLC, where they guarantee payment. In the event that the buyer cannot pay, the seller can submit this instrument to the bank and get the money. So, right? DLC is conditional payment. This is when the seller have fulfilled all the conditions spelled out in the DLC, then only they get the payment. Pre-advised 799 is a notification from the buyer's issuing bank to inform the seller's receiving bank that my buyer is ready to transact. And are you ready to accept the instrument? So this is also a very important step. Most of the buyer will ask for, since I'm giving SBLC, can I make the payment upon arrival, meaning at the port of discharge? Unfortunately, most of the sellers, I will say almost 99% of sellers, do not offer payment at destination port, even though you're given a SBLC. That's the industry norm, right? And the real deal start only when it clears into seller's bank. This line is important. Some buyers say, I already issue you the instruments. Why can't you start the shipment preparation? The clear answer is until the instrument has been validated and received by the receiving bank, nothing is going to start. Be very, very clear about it. So just now, 70% of the problem, right? No, without the top 100 banks, and the buyer bank cannot issue the instrument, CapFiX FinTrade can solve this problem for you. So if it this problem, just write to us. We will recommend, I will connect you to our financial partners. They will assist you to issue the SBLC and the DLC. Okay, proof of funds. Some of the seller, they'll insist the buyer to provide proof of fund in the form of BCL or RWA. But honestly, proof of fund doesn't mean much. It just delay the purpose, in my opinion. The most important section is that we should quickly move the buyer to the stage where they can issue MT799, as mentioned just now. That's the time is to really see whether the buyer has the ability to buy. BCL, it just show you, indicate the fund availability, but it's not very helpful because the buyer can easily move the fund away tomorrow morning. RWA, is this better. They require the buyer's bank to confirm the fund availability and that the buyer is ready to act. So to do this, the bank need to do some validation on the bank and the buyer themselves. So it will create more credibility. But take note that both of them are not binding, meaning you cannot hold them be legally liable. Escrow payment is one way to solve this top 100 bank problem. You see, when you do not have top 100 bank, you cannot generate the instruments. Even you generate instrument for a non-traded, non-rated bank, right? The instrument cannot be processed in the later part of the procedures. So all your time are wasted. Escrow is one way where you can use where the fund will be injected by the buyer into a escrow account. But the problem with this escrow account is that it's not widely used, especially in Asia. It is more popular in the US and Canada, but not in the Asia or the Africa side. Why? Because the confidence in escrow agent is a number one concern. People do not confident, they don't have the confidence to put 300,000 of cash into somebody else's account. What if that somebody and so-called escrow agent are not reliable and then run away with the money? So they prefer to use an instrument. This is the reason why they will the usage of escrow is very, very small. Okay. Tonight, I want to spend a little time on the mentorship because in the last two episodes, I don't have much time to talk about it. And also give ourselves more Q&A, the question and answer time for you, because I know this topic is hot topic. A lot of people will have a lot of questions. And I like to spend more time, or maybe about 50% of my time, answering some of your burning questions. Now go to mentorship. What you notice that in the very previous chart, I mentioned about mentorship. Why is it important? Is it for me or for you? Okay, the first reason is actually for you. I can see there's a gap in the trade ecosystem right now. This can help you if you know how to use it, you can achieve good financial freedom for you. In my past corporate life, I spent a lot of time in the consumer products, like the food products and the personal care products. But none of the container sale will give me the kind of return as big as the sugar. Right? Imagine 1 month you can get about 12,500 US dollars just on a small minimum size vessel order. So if you know the trick and the way to do it, it will give you a financial freedom. At least you pay off some of your expenses so that you have more money in your pocket for your family, or at least for your food or your education. And secondly, it's more for us. We want to look for more partners. We call them CapFiX Global Partners to join CapFiX Global platform. We want good people to work with us, partner will work with us. Together, we form as a team to market the sugar from a more reliable supplier. And we will know how to screen and bring in more genuine buyer so that in the whole transaction, whole flow, all of us benefits. So for this one, I understand that for most of people who work as an intermediary, we will struggle with cash, right? I mean, because it's very difficult to close the sales. Therefore, the incentive is good, but we just cannot get it. So this is why I propose a group mentorship where we keep the expenses low. For this, I'm offering US dollar 280, where normal rate is 480. You will save $200. What is important for you here is you walk away with a clear roadmap and a strategy plan. What does it mean? I'll tell you exactly where is a market priority. Don't go to any markets, and also go to which of the time stealer where you need to be careful. There are a lot of people stealing your time. And what's the early signs of fail or failed orders that you can acknowledge and walk away. Next. For some of you who would like to have my one-on-one time, you're welcome to join this one-on-one mentorship. Normally, I charge US dollars 2,500, but for these 3 days, for this special day, I will offer only 880. You have me for 2 months. The most important point here is that I will work with you together on the real deals. Either you bring the deal together or I give you a inquiry. We will work together with my team. Upon finish this mentorship, you will be invited to join CapFiX Global Partner, right? Your choice, right? But we'll invite you because we are like-minded. I believe we can work together very well. Yeah. Scam alerts, right? In this commodity business, a lot of scammers, especially in these instruments, right? And also, there's just way too many, and a lot of time will be used without too many time, and time is lost. So be careful to who you speaking to. Even the financial who claim that they can issue the financial instrument for you. Okay, you can see more of us at our website at capfixasia.com, or you can follow me and my LinkedIn account. Okay, as promised, I will dedicate 50% of tonight's time for your question and answer. Okay, I know all of you have a lot of burning questions, especially on these subject matters. Please feel free to ask.
Yes, if any of you have any questions, please just submit them in the chat box. Or if you want, you can also unmute and ask your questions. Currently, we don't have any questions yet.
Okay, so maybe while waiting for your question, I'll just share with you some of my observation. Today, I have a big discussion with one of our partners about their buyer are issuing SBLC. Why can't the seller accept payment at discharge port? Discharge port means the destination port. I'm giving guarantee of payment, right? And the term is CIF. CIF meaning when it arrives, then the buyer will pay you. Why can't you accept? This is the answer, the question that I always challenge my seller in the early years of my participation in this commodity business. I'm always argue with them. My buyer giving you CIF, buying CIF. Why do you ask the buyer to pay at loading port? This is wrong. This is FOB, not CIF. But the problem is this is the industry norm. In real life, none, I would say almost zero, the buyer seller agreed to give you payment at the destination port. Why? Because this is a business where cash is under a lot of pressure. The seller need to incur a lot of cash flow to move the sugar from the mills or refineries to the port. And then they need to inject a lot of initial fund to arrange for SUS inspection and some other many other expenses. And most importantly, the risk of the buyer is not paying. So in a way, they want to have the cash back. And they know very well, as a buyer, you have no bargaining power but to accept. And that's why it creates a norm in the market whereby even you have SBLC, even you buy CIF, you still need to pay at loading port.
Thank you, RJ, for sharing. We still currently have no questions, but it
Okay.
is okay. If anyone
All
has
right.
any questions, you can open up your mic or submit your questions in the chat box, or you may just send a question under the LinkedIn event page as well, or under RJ's next post.
Yeah. Please ask, because when I offer this subject, I have a lot of question about this thing. Maybe today is everybody is shy. And that's why I really compress my sharing to only 15 minutes, give more time for questions. Okay, let me share with you another scenario about this instruments, the banks. Right? I think most of you are intermediaries, right? We all wanted to get the sales, right? Doesn't matter whether it is so-called validated or not. But from now, you need to have a change of mindset. Whenever you receive a LOI, please always ask them which bank will the buyer use to issue the instrument. Always ask this question. In my early years, I don't even care to ask this question. What I wanted is your LOI so that I can submit to the seller. Therefore, I stand a chance to get a commission. I urge you to throw away this mindset. Ask very early on. Ask, request the buyer to indicate the name of issuing bank in their LOI. By doing this, you achieve one very important thing. You give the confidence to the seller. Right? Seller know, look at it. First of all, they know this is a 100 bank. They are more likely to support you. And in the meantime, it is a very, very good pre-qualifying criteria. If the buyer or the intermediary cannot answer you which bank they will use to buy the sugar, you know something is wrong. Most of the time, this value of the transaction is come to almost billion. If they cannot answer this question, you know they are not real. Walk away. Even though your heart wanted to keep it, you just need your head, right? It's not real. Walk away. Don't waste your time. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you very much, RJ.
Yeah.
We don't have any questions, but we have one feedback from Mogar. It says,
Okay.
I'm actually in Brazil and mostly ship containers. It would be nice to have the capacity to handle larger orders.
Okay. All right. I think in my last or earlier episode, I did mention about one beauty thing about sugar. Okay. You see, sugar. Sorry, I missed your screen. Okay. You see, because sugar is one of the few commodities, this gives us the opportunity to sell vessel. Vessel means a minimum quantity of 12,500 metric tons a month. And normally, sugar will give you to be able to sign for a 12-month contract. Right? So when you have opportunity to sell vessel, and the buyer is accustomed and ready to buy vessel, actually. So why would you want to spend time on the container sales? I'm not saying that you should not sell container sales. You can still do it. But my opinion is that when you have a chance in this sugar trade, that the buyer is already accustomed to pay and buy in vessel form, try to sell vessel. And in Port Santos in Brazil, because the port is a very busy port, so sometimes they do not do container sales in that port, right? So therefore, if you're in Brazil, you may have the problem to do the container sales, but you can still do it, maybe using other ports, not the Port Santos, so you can still use it. But the port doing container sale, the pricing normally is very high. It comes to about 600, sometimes 700 per 20-footed container. It's very, very high. But when it comes to the vessel sales, you can bring it down to around 450 range of pricing. Currently, I want to share with everybody, the supply for sugar is a bit on the tight side in Brazil. Number one is because the carry forward stock from the last crop year is low due to the weather and also few fires in last year. And this year, the climate a bit dry, therefore the supply is a bit low. And you will see that the pricing now is trending high because now is a harvest season and there are a lot of buyers coming in trying to make deals. Right, this is where the so-called quota holders, the trading company will sign 1-year deal, so they will lock in the supply, and then the early they lock in, the early they get a better price. So if you are an intermediary, please advise your buyer to lock in your commitment to buy now. This is the best time to lock the prices.
All right, we have just about 4 more minutes. So Mogar and
Okay.
Rajat said that in reply to what you shared, their buyers cannot qualify nor have a decent bank or POF.
Mm.
So they both share the same issues.
Okay. Then I think you may you may like to consider other buyer. I mean, that's tough luck. You see, because no matter how much we wanted the buyer to be able to proceed with the order, but if you do not have the top 100 bank and they cannot issue the instrument, the seller will not entertain you. Sometimes you'll find that some seller can entertain, but you may run to the risk that these are scammer. Right? A real seller will not entertain. So you need to be careful. And in your particular stage, the chance of getting the scammer to be no, affected you is very, very high, right? Because of your desire to do it. So if you can convince the bank to, but again, if your buyer wanted to issue the top 100 bank instrument, we can help you. You can write to us. Then we'll guide you. We'll connect you to our partner who can help your buyer to issue the uh, the instrument from the top 100 bank. But for the container sales, really, you may need to check around because we do not deal with container sales. We are not doing vessel. Maybe you try this now. Try this time to change your selling method. See whether you can get more compete in the vessel side. Use this as a challenge and change become an opportunity for you to change your selling method.
All right, thank you very much, RJ. We will have to stop the session now as we are currently short on time already. But of course, if you guys have more questions, please just send it our way, send it to our email, or you can submit them in the comment section on RJ's next post. All right. So thank you everyone for joining tonight and have a good night, have a good afternoon, have a good day.
Thank you, everybody. Bye.